Pride and Prejudice is a classic novel by Jane Austen, first published in 1813. Set in the early 19th century in England, the novel follows the lives of the Bennet family, particularly the second eldest daughter Elizabeth, as she navigates the social hierarchy and expectations of the time. The novel opens with the famous line, "It is a truth universally acknowledged, that a single man in possession of a good fortune, must be in want of a wife." This sets the stage for the novel's exploration of the societal pressures on women to marry for wealth and status, rather than for love and personal fulfillment. The Bennet family consists of Mr. and Mrs. Bennet and their 5 daughters, Jane, Elizabeth, Mary, Kitty, and Lydia. One of the most enduring aspects of the novel is its depiction of the Bennet family. While they are certainly flawed and at times exasperating, they are also relatable and endearing in their own way. Jane is kind and gentle, Elizabeth is intelligent and independent, Mary is bookish and serious, Kitty and Lydia are flighty and frivolous. Mr. Bennet's dry humor and Mrs. Bennet's obsession with marriage provide moments of levity throughout the novel. Another notable aspect of the novel is Austen's use of language and dialogue. The characters speak in a formal, mannered style that reflects the time period, but the dialogue is also infused with Austen's trademark wit and irony. Many of the novel's most memorable moments come from the characters' exchanges with each other, such as Mr. Collins's absurd proposal to Elizabeth or Lady Catherine de Bourgh's haughty interrogations of her social inferiors. The novel's main plot revolves around the arrival of a wealthy bachelor named Mr. Bingley, who takes up residence in the nearby Netherfield estate. Mrs. Bennet sees this as a perfect opportunity to marry off one of her daughters to Mr. Bingley, and immediately sets about trying to make it happen. Jane, the eldest Bennet daughter, forms a close friendship with Mr. Bingley, while Elizabeth is initially put off by his friend Mr. Darcy's cold and aloof demeanor. Elizabeth is quick to judge Mr. Darcy based on his initial behavior, and her prejudice against him only grows when she hears him make disparaging remarks about her at a social gathering. However, as the novel progresses, Elizabeth begins to see Mr. Darcy in a new light. She learns that he has been instrumental in helping her sister Jane's relationship with Mr. Bingley progress, and that his initial behavior towards her was influenced by his pride and social standing. In turn, Mr. Darcy begins to see Elizabeth as more than just an outspoken and impertinent young woman, and comes to admire her intelligence and wit. Their relationship takes a turn for the better when Mr. Darcy writes Elizabeth a letter, in which he explains his side of the story and the motivations behind his behavior. Meanwhile, the Bennet family is faced with a scandal when Lydia runs off with Mr. Wickham, a charming but unscrupulous soldier. Mr. Darcy intervenes and helps to track them down and force Mr. Wickham to marry Lydia, saving the Bennet family from ruin. In the end, all of the loose ends are tied up neatly. Jane and Mr. Bingley get engaged, as do Elizabeth and Mr. Darcy. Mrs. Bennet gets her wish of having her daughters marry wealthy men, and the family's future is secure. Despite its focus on the societal norms and expectations of the time, Pride and Prejudice is also a novel about personal growth and self-discovery. Elizabeth and Mr. Darcy both learn to set aside their pride and prejudices and see each other for who they truly are. Elizabeth also learns to confront her own biases and rethink her assumptions about people based on their social standing or first impressions. Mr. Darcy, in turn, learns to be more open-minded and compassionate towards those he initially dismisses as beneath him. One of the reasons for the enduring popularity of Pride and Prejudice is its ability to appeal to a wide audience. While the novel is set in a specific time and place, its themes are universal and timeless. Anyone who has ever felt judged or underestimated based on their social standing or appearance can relate to Elizabeth's struggle to be taken seriously by Mr. Darcy and his wealthy friends. Anyone who has ever experienced the sting of rejection or the pain of unrequited love can empathize with Jane's heartbreak when Mr. Bingley seems to abandon her. Furthermore, Austen's sharp social commentary is as relevant today as it was when the novel was first published. The novel exposes the limitations placed on women of the time, who were expected to marry well in order to secure their financial and social status. It also highlights the hypocrisy and shallowness of the upper classes, who place great importance on appearances and wealth but often lack genuine empathy and kindness. Pride and Prejudice is a novel that has captivated readers for over 2 centuries. Its enduring appeal lies in its incisive social commentary, its memorable characters, and its exploration of universal themes of love, growth, and self-discovery. Whether read as a historical artifact or a timeless work of literature, Pride and Prejudice remains a masterpiece that continues to inspire and entertain readers of all ages and backgrounds. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe to QuickBooks, like and comment below.